How to be frugal but not cheap. It's often a thin line between being frugal and looking cheap. Where you fall under may make a huge difference between how you're perceived and even treated by others. So here are some very simple ways to appear frugal without looking cheap. Cut down on monthly subscriptions. One of the easiest ways that money gets sucked from our accounts without us even knowing about it is by holding on to subscriptions that aren't even useful anymore. Whether it's a food delivery service you haven't touched in months or one of the many streaming services that we never watch anything from, it's time to start cleaning these recurring charges out. There are even services today, such as Frugal and Trim, that exist just to bring this all to your attention, and can save you hundreds of dollars a year in a lot of cases. Paying for services that you don't need is an easy way to inflate your budget and keep you from spending money on the stuff that you really want instead. Wait for the perfect time to shop. When it comes to getting the most bang for your buck, a lot of it comes down to timing. Instead of making snap decision buys, you could potentially save 50% or more from your purchase just by waiting and keeping an eye on the product for later. Whether it's a car or a sweater, almost everything goes on sale these days, and smart consumers are trying their best to only buy things they want when they go on sale. It's also important to take a look at exactly what you are buying. For example, fitness equipment is cheaper in January when people are making the greatest effort to work on themselves, whereas the days and weeks leading up to Black Friday are usually your best time to scoop up electronics. Buy with the long game in mind. People often can appear cheap looking when they hold on to equipment or items for a long time that begin to visibly wear down. That's where the mindset of buying for durability start to come in, as these items are less likely to wear down and in the same vein less likely to become an eyesore to neighbors or guests. If you can get over paying more at the start, you may actually get more of your money's worth out of things than if you decided to buy more replacements but for cheaper. This is a sign that you have a frugal quality about yourself, but there is also a logical side to this way of thinking that will prevent people from thinking you are just cheap. Pay your share when going out with friends. People often don't care how you spend your money until it begins to affect them. It's common courtesy that you should help out equally if you and your friends go out to eat or are spending money on activities that you are taking part in. While you may personally feel like there is a slightly fairer way to go about things, it is only going to make you look cheap if you begin to argue small details with others. Problems concerning cost and budget should be brought up before you guys plan things out and not after. Otherwise, people may think that you are just trying to get out of paying your share of things. Spend money on needs, while being weary about spending it on wants. If you take your health, for example, into account, and spend money on things like treatments and checkups, that doesn't mean that you are still not also being frugal. If you wish to be frugal, then you are just being critical of your purchases, but you are not trying to sacrifice anything. Being cheap can often feel like you are sacrificing something in order to do it, which is why people can often react negatively to the trait. Not spending money on your health in order to keep a little extra in your bank account is being cheap, since you are sacrificing your health for a little potential money. Being frugal can be collaborative. A great way to be frugal is to communicate with your friends and family about it. This also saves you the awkward thought that they are talking about your money-saving nature behind your back, and is overall a great way to break any tension around your frugality. Saving money is something that almost everyone can understand is a good and well-intentioned goal, and you may even be able to involve others around you in it if you describe it to them. The difference between being frugal and being cheap here is that by telling people beforehand, and communicating with them when you are not comfortable spending money on things, it prevents an awkward time later and lets them know from the start where you stand on the situations. Even after learning all of these powerful tips I've just taught you, you still not know everything about saving money. Believe it or not, more information you need can be found in this video here. And that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. It helps us out a lot in getting noticed by YouTube. See you guys for the next video.